كل ليمون ستجيب طفلة ومهل أن يتهي الليمون. Assalamu alaikum and good day people. My name is SYAFIQ, a student of SMK DATO HAJI TALIB KARIM, and today I'll be reviewing an interesting book I read a few months ago. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be in the shoes of a Syrian pharmacy student who is forced to become a doctor before graduating for the sake of her people, where war was still waged in her country? A war where every patient could be her last. Well, that's exactly why we're thrown into As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Katu. Trust me, once you read this heartbreaking, touching book, you will never forget all the pain and sadness it shall bring. As Long as the Lemon Tree Grow is a YA novel, but honestly, it's a story that everyone should read. Basically, the summary of the story is, imagine you're Salama, a Syrian pharmacy student, and your days are a blur of frantic surgeries without anesthesia. You're trying to save lives, but every shift leaves you with this crushing guilt, a way you try to push down by whispering flower names. Daisies, daisies, daisies. It's her way on holding on to her little piece of life she had before the war. Then, Kanal walks into her life. Salama's finding herself falling for him. And get this, in the middle of this war zone, Kanan proposes and they have a small nikah at the hospital. They plan to flee together and make a small makeshift family. But just when it seems like they may have got a new chance at a new life, Salama learns something that shatters everything she thought she knew. And trust me, you won't see it coming. But I'm not going to spoil it out for you. You are going to have to read the book to find out. After I finished reading this book, I was devastated because this book has got to be the most heartbreaking soft romance book I may have ever read. Okay, yeah, I may not be interested in romance, but still, this novel is just chef's kiss. Wow. I started reading this book because it has been popularized in my TikTok For You page for quite some time. So I asked my mother to buy it for me online as it wasn't available yet on any bookstores around me, as it wasn't exactly as popular yet in Malaysia. Surprisingly, it had a reasonable price of 50 ringgit, even though it's an imported book from the UK. Usually, imported books would cost more than 80 something ringgit. So I was glad. This book is also quite long though. It consists of 500 pages, so it's not exactly suitable for impatient people. Some of the things I love about this book is, the almost obvious one, the cover itself. The color choices and the design is very unique and lovely. I especially love the mosque-like design featured on the cover, as it symbolizes the Islamic themes in this book. I mean, the author herself is Muslim. Not to mention, if you hold it physically, you can feel the texture of the cover's book title. The dazzling gold color itself just makes it 100 times better. Plus, the color of the pages, which is yellowish, resembles the ancient times. Another fact I love about this book is the author inserted some Arabic words inside of the story itself, such as Salama's hallucination, khawf, is actually a word in Arabic meaning fear. There is also an Arabic quote inserted in this book, which I read earlier during the introduction, meaning, every lemon will bring forth a child, and the lemons will never die out. This quote is written by a famous Syrian poet named Nizar Qabani, who I will introduce later. The quote itself inspired Zulfa to write the title. Besides that, I love the fact how she wrote the book in the specific theme and tone for the writing. The tone used for the writing, which is hopefulness and desperation, alongside with writing it in Salma's POV, just makes it more understandable and relatable for the readers. For the dislike, however, there's just one, which is chapter 29. Zulfa, just why? Why would you do us dirty with the plot twist at that specific chapter? I really just can't move on from that chapter at all. That chapter will definitely bring sadness to those who seek it. So, look forward to that chapter, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about some of the facts I love about the author and the quotes. Zulfa Katu is a Canadian of Syrian descent author of young adult fiction. Her debut novel, As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, was published in the year 2022, but I discovered the book in 2024. Better late than never, right? About Nizar Qabani, he was born on the 21st of March 1923 and he lived up until the 30th of April 1998. He is also a famous Syrian poet during his time, who has written many poems regarding his life. Some of them even include the quote, "Every lemon will bring forth a child, and the lemon will never die out." Nizar Qabani is an inspiration for Zulfar for her novel. The book took me at least 2 to 3 weeks to finish, as each page is difficult to move on. I love how she implemented some in real-life reference to her novel. I remember that one scene where Salama was struggling to save a little boy named Ahmad, who was going to die from internal bleeding. Before he died, he said to Salama, "When I go to heaven, I'll tell God everything." This specific scene itself shattered me the most, as a Syrian child in real life actually said the same thing during the Revolutionary War. Not only that, the book itself has many morals I have discovered, such as, we can plan all we want, but God got the best plan. But for me, I think it's sabar, or also known as patient, is the best moral. If we are patient with all the tests we face in life, inshallah, God will reward us with something better, whether it's on this mortal earth or the eternal afterlife. I wholeheartedly recommend this book to those who are a fan of Middle Eastern culture books and those who enjoy romance, as the themes in the story is quite scary. With this caution though, it has some advanced words in this book, so I would exactly recommend this book to beginner English learners. Overall, this book has a special place in my favorite bookshelves. I'll wrap this up for now. I hope you guys will have the heart to read this book. Make sure to prepare some tissues if you are an emotional person. Until next time, people, bye-bye!